Correct.
Those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. That's approved. Discuss and take action on school approvals or program changes. Do we have anything for that? Okay. Discuss. And take action. Update provided to the board regarding FSMTB. Hey, you?
That's me.
Okay.
So as you all know, I went to the annual conference for the Federation over the last month, and some very interesting things were happening. I just want to make the board aware that there are some states that are considering pulling out of membership for the Federation. There seems to be an agenda that is obvious that a lot of the states are not really wanting to follow. So if you all hear that, I wanted you to know something that was said to me that I think should be said to others. While I agree some of the things I heard this board would not be fond of, and as such I voted against them on our behalf, there was an opinion held by one of my colleagues, that said, for those member states who pull out of the membership, you no longer can vote no. So if you stay a member state and they're doing something that you are opposed to or you don't like, then you can continue to vote no. But if you pull out as a member, then you basically just give them a free yes. This conversation was triggered by some of the compact, the mechanism that they're using to pursue the compact is very unethical. Some of the voting that happened at the educational conference was borderline unethical. One of the things that they did do that a lot of the states were very unhappy with is we spent about an hour voting on positions for board of directors, and then they went behind closed doors and nominated another individual without hearing from any of the other states. And that has really rubbed a lot of the states the wrong way. The particular individual that they voted in is currently, I don't want to say under investigation, but the individual that they voted in currently is having problems in their own state. And that's, most of the states that were present felt like that in and of itself would have been a reason not to put him in this position until things were settled, because right now no one really knows who's right and who's wrong in the situation. But the Federation took it upon themselves behind closed doors to go ahead and promote this individual into a very high board of directors position. So,
Miranda,
yes.
Are you referring to Keith Warren being appointed or
Vice
elected
President?
as finance, and his board is sunsetted?
Yes.
The Alabama, for those of the Tennessee board members that don't know, the Alabama legislators have sunsetted the Alabama board with the intention of reconstituting it at the next legislative session, but their board is currently, they're operating under a,
Wind down.
yeah, they're allowing them to continue to perform function, but they are sunsetted. And the FSMTB elected the contracted, he's not appointed by the governor, he's a contracted third-party representative that is now, due to great concern by the Alabama legislators. I've been watching these sunset hearings, and they have sunsetted the Alabama board. And the Alabama board third-party director, who is not a state employee, he is a third-party contractor. Through great concern of the Alabama legislators, they have sunsetted the Alabama board, and the FSMTB just made him, what is the title? Director of Finance?
I believe he's the vice president.
Vice President of Finance? So the
Yes.
Keith Warren's title for FSMTB, is it Director of Finance?
Finance director.
And so that, there's two issues I have. I don't know if you guys have been following this or not, but I have great concern. I mean, monumental concern that the FSMTB has a financial director whose board has so much concern by his legislators, they sunsetted them. And this happened, they knew that the Alabama board had been sunsetted when they allowed him to become the financial director.
So that is part of the issue that the states are having, is that he himself stood up in front of everybody and explained to the entire attendance that his board had been sunset. He is a privately contracted company that runs these boards, not just the massage board, there's other boards. And he himself disclosed that information to everybody. But then when it came time for the voting, they did not do that in the open forum. Instead, they went into an executive meeting, and then the board of directors nominated him for this role. But currently on the board of directors for the Federation, there are 2 individuals from the Alabama board that are holding titles on that.
Well, I have great concern about that. I also have great concern about the letter that they sent out in censure of California's representative. I want to go on official record that that letter was so inappropriate on so many levels, so unprofessional, it was staggering. I don't know if you guys all read that letter, but the censure that they said for him speaking up and his comments and his pushback, they censured him publicly for that and shamed him and questioned his credibility. That raises further concern for me of their intention, their motivation. Is this a member board?
So to that point, another thing that several of the states had great concern with is, in addition to that letter, there was also a letter on behalf of the Federation that was sent backing this individual to the legislature in Alabama. And essentially, the Federation is a member state board. They should not be endorsing individuals, especially when there's ongoing concerns of this egregious nature. And so there are a lot of states that are very upset at this current moment. There were a lot of side conversations about, don't worry, the Federation's got your back. That's not what the Federation is for at all. The Federation should not be representing individuals. The Federation should be assisting the state boards in getting things like standardized education and some of the other things that the state boards have been trying to fight for across the United States, and not these little individual agenda items that most of the states are greatly opposed to.
Can you shed any light on what happened with North Carolina? The letter that they had to...
So that was public information as well. North Carolina, at the meeting a year ago, sent a letter to the Federation asking that they post it to all states. They wanted it sent out to all states. The Federation waited for 6.5 months when North Carolina's legal department sent them another letter asking them, one, why hadn't the letter been sent to the other states? Because they're a state member of that Federation and they wanted it sent to the other states. Before the Federation would send the letter, they first answered the letter. So all of the concerns that were addressed, and they were egregious concerns in this letter, all of those concerns that were addressed, when the Federation did send it out to the states, they sent out the letter from I believe it was from the president. If it wasn't from the president, it was from Deborah Persinger, where she answered each of those concerns. But if you read it, it didn't really answer anything. It was just a response to those concerns, but not an actual solution or meaningful information to those concerns. But when they sent out their response. And then they sent out the North Carolina letter, which North Carolina then followed up with another letter that said, one, your unresponsiveness is unacceptable. We asked you to do this 6.5 months ago. When you responded with answers that weren't answers. We are educated enough to know that you responded, but you didn't answer anything, to which the Federation has not come back and said anything else.
Miranda, I have a question, and I have a question for this board. I wish everyone could see the letter that they sent out. If we didn't, can we get that to the board members? The FSMTB letter they sent out censuring Amos?
Yeah.
Because if this is a member organization, and to summarize it for the board members, they basically just censured and reprimanded.
They publicly reprimanded him.
Reprimanded the California representative for speaking up against what they were doing. Okay, what was it? They called him immature?
Yeah. So in this meeting, there were some things that CMTB brought forward. They had their attorneys with them, the Federation had their attorneys with them, and they brought forward some things, some suggestions that they felt like the bylaws were missing. And essentially the acting president of the Federation said, we're not going to vote on any of these things. And the attorney stood up and said, this is the forum for you to do that, and we need to follow, these things have been proposed for a reason. And it actually became a very tense moment between the Federation attorney and the CAMTC attorney, where the response from the Federation was literally, I'm not going to stand up here and debate this with you, this is not the place, and the conversation just ended.
Well, my concern for the board members is Tennessee is a represented board for the FSMTB. This letter went out from FSMTB representing all of their member boards. Because we are a member board, they basically just represented Tennessee in censuring publicly this professional. And I've got a real fundamental problem with that. I don't believe that the Tennessee board, and I would love for y'all to see this letter and see if you agree with me, that this doesn't represent us.
Oh, no.
And I would like for our board to make a public statement that we do not agree with this letter. This does not represent the Tennessee board, because what they said in this letter was so grossly inappropriate, it's staggering.
The letter itself was very immature. The letter itself was very immature.
It sounded like a temper tantrum.
It absolutely, several states have agreed that it comes across as, we didn't like that you requested us to do something, so instead we'll publicly reprimand you. The letter in its entirety was inappropriate.
It sounded like a reprimand.
Do you think that as a board and a member and representing the state of Tennessee, is there some kind of letter that we should send out back to the board?
It is 100% up to you. Like I said, it took North Carolina 6.5 months to get their letter sent out to everybody. I think there's alternative ways around this. I think there are several states that are kind of all on the same page, where...
Do we have a list of all the people on the boards in the other states and the Federation?
We do not, even though we've requested that.
You don't have a member list?
Even though we've requested that at 3 different annual conferences, it has been denied.
Oh, well, we have to have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first thing I would send out is, I want a list of everybody that's a member, of which we are a member, and their contact information. This is just standard operating procedure. I don't care if
It was voted against.
I just sent the letter, I forwarded the letter to you, if you can forward it to the board members or put it on the cloud perhaps.
Just drop it in the cloud.
So that everyone can read it, because I really believe that you guys are about to just be completely floored.
Well, I just get back to, we need to have that information. So by hook or by crook, we got to find it. Even if we have to go out to each state board and say, send us your contact information, we need to be able to communicate with our own membership.
So it's not, it's their membership, which is why they denied it, because they are saying it is impossible for them to maintain an ever-changing, they're saying that the states have too much turnover.
They are us. We are they.
Yeah, we
are a member board. That is unacceptable.
Okay. So let's send the, for sure. Do I need a motion? I'm suggesting the board, does the board all agree with that?
Yes.
We need a copy of all the members and their contact information. And guess what? If you want to contact the Tennessee board, you send a letter to the Tennessee Board of Licensed Massages. Who's ever in charge? Yeah, we have turnover.
Yeah.
We have new lawyers, we have new administrators, we have new board members.
But we always review the correspondence.
That's right.
Yeah.
So just general correspondence.
So that was the first thing that I wanted you all to be aware of. So when you're out hearing things, that you kind of have some background information to it. Also, a lot of this information is available publicly. You can go investigate on your own different things. There's been several news articles that have come out of Alabama recently. For your reading enjoyment. But the next thing I have for you is in your cloud.